and welcome to my valley. From enchanted forest to whimsical meadows and royal castles, I've been working hard to make this valley feel like home for all of our favorite characters. And I can't wait to show you around. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's take a magical stroll together. My plaza has been decorated as a neighborhood. So I have a gazebo as you come up the incline from the peaceful meadow, and this leads you onto a little main street path here. So I have a little bit of a sidewalk and a main street going across my plaza with a few houses. Oh my gosh, this is so perfect. The Tiana is out front, Lottie's house. Lots of white picket fences, lots of flowers. I used a bunch of the bird houses. We have a little cruiser bike here in front of Lady's house. I also placed a bunch of benches and trash cans to really kind of give it that town feel. Next to the well in my plaza, I have a little bit of a park. So in the center, I have this gorgeous regal fountain, which I was hunting for in Scrooge's for so long. It is a Storybook Vale exclusive item in Scrooge's. So if you do have that DLC, definitely keep your eyes peeled for this item. It is not one you want to miss. So that is the centerpiece of the little park here. I do have a little picnic blanket in the back, and I have moved all of my plaza flowers into this little park here just to kind of keep them organized, and so I always know where they are. Over here, I have a little bit of a storage setup where I can drop the things I collect in the plaza, and it also just looks kind of cute, like a little shaved ice cart there. Let's actually go behind Lady's house because there is a little bit of a backyard setup. I don't always decorate the back of the houses as a backyard, but I thought that this would be a really cute one to do in the plaza. We have this new barbecue pit set up, and then I also have my ancient cooker there just to grab meals on the go. We have a little bit of a sitting area with all of these chairs surrounding the bonfire. Let's get that going. And then over here, I have all of my lemon trees scattered around this garden. So that's what's going on in back of Lady's house. Let's continue this way. I just love the vibes of walking down this main street. And I did try to make a cul-de-sac over here, which is something I had never tried to do. Inside the middle of the cul-de-sac, we have the gazebo, and inside of that, I have my crafting station for the biome. You'll notice I tend to put a crafting station and a cooking station in all of my biomes, if not most of them. So on this side of the street, I have this blue Victorian home, which is so pretty. I really love it here in the plaza. And next to that, I have another garden surrounded by all of my apple trees. Over here, we have our entrance to Wonderland. So next to a little rabbit hole, I did add in a down sign because we are going down the rabbit hole. I've also considered maybe putting a little companion house here with a bunch of rabbits, but I just haven't done it yet. Next to the house at the end of the cul-de-sac here, I have a little bit of a park or playground. So I just added in a bunch of toys, tried to make it look kind of like a little sandbox. We have the slide, the little truck, little sand castle and sand pail and ball, little wagon with the frog. Just tried to fill it up with some really cute toy items. Here is an overhead look at how the plaza is laid out with the cul-de-sac in the main street going across. I do also have these gardens set up in the back towards the peaceful meadow. And then as a little transition, I have little stepping stones going on down to the meadow. It's all kind of mirrored in the plaza. So I have another one of these garlands, my ancient vacuum, and then the stepping stones just leading off to the meadow or over into the forest. So we are now in the meadow, and my peaceful meadow is kind of set up as a fairy wonderland. In the heart of the meadow, I have my wishing well, which I customized to the springtime well skin. And surrounding that, I have tons of flowers, all of the Rapunzel lanterns. I really wanted this area to feel very magical and whimsical. So there's lots of mushrooms, tons of stuff from some recent star paths we've had, and some really adorable adorable houses. Over here we have the Fairy Blossom, which is currently my main home in the valley. This is where a lot of my streams start off, exiting this home. So it's really special over here. Over next to this pond, I have the path circling all around and leading up to this really cute greenhouse cottage. Next to that, I just have a little bit of a sitting area, and then we can continue along this way and get right back onto our main path. There's a lot of Storybook Vale items used in this biome as well to kind of fill it up with foliage. So lots of these like big mushrooms and the flower bushes and things you'll see are all from Storybook Vale. Now on the other side of the well across from the Fairy Blossom, I have Tinkerbell's house, which is really cute because it's a teapot. And I thought that her house next to mine just seemed really fitting. I love that you can walk underneath her house and it will lead you on over to this little pond. Next to the pond, I have a gazebo, and over here I have a little bit of a kitchen setup. So I have Tiana's slow cooker and then a few tea party items because that is what we are called here on my channel, the tea party. So we have a teapot on the side and the tea tower, which kind of looks like it is hanging on this table for dear life. I don't know if I can move that over, but maybe I should try. And then next to this, I have a storage chest where I keep a bunch of cooked meals to grab and drop, and a cooking stove, which is really pretty outside with all of the green. So this is kind of like a good little area for me to have because I can easily grab some vegetable items from Wally's garden, and then I can make any recipes or use these to gift to villagers and things like that. So this is a really handy little area for me, and it also just looks cute with the rest of the fairy aesthetic we have going on in the meadow. Now, next to Tinkerbell's house, just to kind of orient ourselves, we've just come from the well, and then we have Tinkerbell's house here. Next to Tinkerbell's house, I made a little bit of a fairy sitting area. So this is where the fairies come and have their little very special meetings. Next to that, I have Tink's Tinkering Station, just a little crafting station. And then I have a garden in the middle of the path, which is not something I usually do, but I thought that this was really a nice spot for me to easily drop some seeds as I pick up night thorns and things like that in the valley, and I'm always collecting new seeds. I can just easily plant everything here, and it's all set up on an ancient gardener. I thought it looked really cute, framed with all of the white picket fences too. Once we've come through that garden, we are now in front of Wally's garden and that little cooking area I showed you before. So I again have the same kind of skin that is on the well in this biome set up on Goofy's stall, and I think it looks so perfect with the spring theme in the meadow. And then I also have some storage chests here where I can drop and store vegetables. Over here we have a little bit of a fairy circle, and inside of these little toadstools I put the friendship pillar there, so I thought that was just a cute little filler build. And then we can make our way past all of the mushrooms and magical pixie dust, and this leads us on over to Fairy Godmother's house and Merlin's houses. I think that the two of them are really cute together, so I wanted to place their homes together so maybe we can see them hang out more often. They are just like my guardians in the valley. Don't tell Mushu I said that, but they're just so special. You know, Merlin's been our guy since day one, and Fairy Godmother is just such a sweet, endearing character that I love in my valley. And the two of their homes placed together, they definitely fit the whimsical and magical theme that I'm going for in the meadow too. I love to see all of these butterflies flying around. The meadow is just one of my favorite biomes, and I think you can kind of tell that based on how I go all out to decorate it. My least favorite thing in the meadow is probably this guy right here. Yeah, he did not get the invite, and neither did his flute. So let's evacuate the premises immediately and make our way down to Dazzle Beach. So here's an overhead shot of how the meadow is all laid out. I spend a lot of time on my pathing, and a lot of my decorating is surrounding the pathing. If you want to know more about how I lay out and design pathings, check out the rest of my channel because I've done quite a few videos covering all of that. So yeah, this is how the meadow is looking here. here. So here we are now on Dazzle Beach. When you come down the staircase from the peaceful meadow, I have Moana's boat set up here with all of the fish available. Next to it, I have a little storage chest, this little cooler from the summer event. And this is where I drop all of the fish that I collect from her boat, or as I'm fishing on the beach. It's just really handy to have a chest there to drop everything in. I love having these little chairs all around the beach set up as kind of like little stalls. You'll see that kind of as a theme throughout my valley. I love to have villager interactions, and I really enjoy seeing the villagers hanging out at the stalls and kind of acting like they are running a little shop. So going along with Moana's theme here on the beach, we have Hey Hey's companion house, and here I have Hey Hey and Pua somewhere. They're off wandering behind the boat. Next to Pua and Hey Hey, of course, Moana is not too far. So over here we have the canoe club, where Moana is teaching everyone how to swim and how to navigate on the ocean. So we have a few little canoes off in the water here next to her home. And I just kept her house pretty like simple and tropical. Moana seems pretty easygoing. I feel like she doesn't like a lot of fuss. So I kept the decor around her home really quite simple. I will loop you on around the back of her house because over here is where I have Goofy's stall. And I did customize Goofy's stall to match Moana's house with the stall skin there. So that is really cute. Little tiki torches next to it. And we will now make our way to the other side of the little fish market. And over here I have Aladdin's stall. So Aladdin has a gem stall. And again, I did kind of a similar setup with the little beach chair here, the umbrella, and a storage chest to drop a bunch of gems. I honestly don't find Aladdin's stall to be too useful. I've been playing this game since week 1, so I have a lot of the Valley gems stocked up, but I really wish he would sell some gems from Eternity Isle and Storybook Vale. I don't know if that will ever happen, but here's to hoping. Goofy looks perfect in his little pirate outfit, and over here I have just kind of like a chill little area for the beach. So we've got like a little gazebo and a board game set up with some lounge chair. We're making some sand castles. It's a cozy chill vibe over here on Dazzle Beach. And then of course Vanellope strolls up to cause some chaos. Over here is Lilo and Stitch's Hawaiian area. So this is all inspired by them. So we have a little bit of a lost and found. Honestly, this area reminds me of Hannah Montana, kind of like the little beach scene in Hannah Montana. So we have the lost and found item and some beach bikes here for rent. Next to that, I have the Hawaiian home from Stitch's bundle, which is set up as kind of a cafe. So I did a little extension of that and made a little beachfront cafe. We have Stitch's house off to the side here, and then a few tables and chairs. And since Stitch loves coffee, I put all of the coffee beans in front of his house scattered throughout this little cafe. So that is this little Hawaiian area for the two of them. I really need Lilo in the game stat. Similarly to what I had in the plaza, I have another one of these Lukey shave ice carts, and this is where I drop a bunch of the things I pick up in the beach. So we have a little bit of a boardwalk going throughout the area, going up to this little dock here. Next to Stitch's house, I did put a little lounge area with some coconut cake and an iced coffee for Stitch because he is always running around the valley screaming that he wants that. So there you are, Stitch. Stop asking. So let's go around Stitch's house and take a peek at Skull Rock. Over here, I have a pirate theme going on. So to just annoy Captain Hook, we have the Croc over here docked. Oh, we just leveled him up. He's rolling around in the water. So cute. I also have docked my pirate parrot. So we'll give that a pet. We are just leveling all our companions up today. Okay, let's go. So we have just, you know, some pirate-like companions over here. I have my wishing well in the center customized with the Desert Oasis well skin. I may have just made that up, but that does sound right. And then we have a little bit of just, you know, some pirate knickknacks, treasure maps all throughout the area and some crates, little scallywag dinghies, and this is all right in front of Skull Rock, which is a very special place in the valley. Making our way back to the beach, I do have this really lovely rainbow going across, kind of connecting the main beach over here to Skull Rock. I really love how that looks as we're walking on the boardwalk, making our way over here. You kind of see that rainbow off in the distance. Down the boardwalk over here, this is my mini golf course. This was such a fun build. We did a lot of this on stream. Actually, a lot of the decorating I do is either on stream or in videos. So check my channel if you want to see how anything came to be. But this is my mini golf course. So to do this, I customized a bunch of Touch of Magic rugs to make them look like little putting greens. And then I added pearls dropped on the rugs to look like mini golf balls. I also added things like the little windmills and a bunch of like pirate accessories. There's also things like the waterfalls off in the distance and the Pixie Mill House, just to kind of give it that mini golf feel. I feel like you can really add any kind of decor to a build like this, and it was so fun. I honestly want to make a bigger mini golf course. Right next to the confectionery, we have a little mini golf shack. Grab your golf balls and your little putter, and then to act as mini golf balls, I added some pearls and the baskets of eggs because we got to work with what we have. There's really not too many golf items, so that is what I went with. Across from the mini golf course, I have the beach house out in the water, and next to that, I have a little outdoor surfboard rental shop. So again, I love to make these kind of little markets all throughout the valley. So we have the little beach chair here set up, and I've also added in a little crafting station. The aerial crafting station is so pretty. So I just wanted to kind of add in a bunch of the surfboards and scatter them all under this little kind of cabana. So the last house on the beach is the confectionery, and I feel like no boardwalk is really complete without some kind of candy or fudge shop. So we have the confectionery store right on the corner here, and across from it, I added in a bunch of little seating areas. I use these really cute Pixar table and chairs because I feel like the colors really played off the confectionery mixed in throughout this area. I also added in all of my coconut trees. So here is an overhead look at how I have the area where I have Moana's house all set up, and then I will just pan on over down the beach. We have the little Hawaiian Lilo and Stitch set up over here, and then of course Skull Rock set up with the pirate theme, and then over here we have our mini golf course and our surf rental shop as well as the confectionery. So really love the beach. This was so fun to design as a special celebration for hitting 10,000 subscribers on the channel. So I've hopped into a time machine and we are now in the 1920s in the Glade of Trust. This is all decorated for Tiana. I love her house here as we come down the incline right in front of this pond. I did a little area dedicated to her and Naveen with these two little frogs. In the water here, I have Donald's house. Donald is always walking around in his little dapper style, so I feel like he fits into this bayou theme perfectly. And then next to Tiana's house over here, I have the Bayou Companion house, and the little dapper croc is over here walking around. Let me just give him a pet too. Making our way across the bridge, we have Tiana's palace. I wanted to give this a really regal feel. In front of it, I accessorized with some of these light up green fences, these oversized flowers, and then over here we have a little bit of a host stand. To the left of Tiana's palace, I made a little bit of a sitting area, and I dedicated this to Ray and Evangeline, the fireflies that fall in love in The Princess and the Frog. So we have the fireflies flying on over the wisteria branches. Also placed these two little rocking chairs and some beignets in between them, and really just wanted to make this a relaxing and romantic spot. Continuing along in the glade, over here we have the trolley station. So I used the main entry from the Disney parks as my trolley station, and I placed the trolley tracks all around the building and a few trolley trolley cars here. We have a little bit of kind of like a central courtyard here, and then you can even walk right through this. And on the other side, I have my well and another trolley car. I love that when I fast travel into the Glade, it's like I'm arriving at the trolley station. I told you guys, I hopped on a time machine. You just didn't know it was a trolley. So over here, we move into the marketplace. So we have Tiana's water tower off in the corner next to the pond, and then we really get into the market. I have Goofy's stall right next to the Bayou Cottage, and I've customized the stall to match the cottage. I love how this looks together. I really like the banner coming from the stall and going into the cottage. It's kind of clipping through, but it also kind of works, and I really adore that. Now, I wanted this to have kind of like a town slash market feel, so I have the Monsters Inc. apartment building out front here, and then next to that, I have the flower shop, a little bit of a sitting area surrounded by a fountain, and we have Beast's stall as well as Tiana's stalls over here. And then I mixed in all of my cocoa bean trees and my banana trees in the Glade of Trust because I just really like the coloring of those down here. So that is our cute little Bayou Market, and we'll make our way across the bridge here. And this is where things get a little more spooky because over here I have the Haunted Mansion house because I just felt like it goes perfectly along with the New Orleans theme I was going for. So we do have the Haunted Mansion. Next to it, I made these kind of like little graveyards using some of these ancient civilization items to kind of make it look like old tombstones. And there is another one over here next to the willow tree. So a little bit of a spooky vibe. Oddly enough, next to the Haunted Mansion is where Mickey Mouse has ended up in my valley. And Mickey just has a little bit of a gardening theme going on in his yard. He has some fruits and veggies for sale in the street, and a little outhouse as kind of like a gardening shed. Before I go on over to Goofy's house, let's go into Mother Gothel's area. I really didn't do too much for her, although I did place this pillar as well as a little bench over here. So kept it really simple, but there's really not too much space to work with as far as decorating that area. So as we come across the ridge, I want to show you guys to the left, I have another gazebo here, and inside this gazebo, I have a crafting station and a little place to sit and play the guitar. Out front here, I have a little bit of a portrait area, so it's really cute to see the villagers standing here, and it looks like sometimes they're getting their portraits drawn or like a little caricature of themselves drawn down here. And then surrounding the gazebo, I moved all of the flowers in the biome here and made a little bit of a flower garden with a little sign here and the little purple wheelbarrows in it. I just thought that was really sweet. And then next to that, we have Goofy's house. It wasn't really intentional, but it did work out that I have Donald, Goofy, and Mickey all placed in the bayou together. So we have Goofy's house over here, and then I put this little truck here, and I like to imagine that this is his truck that he whips around the valley delivering all the food to the other Goofy stalls. So here is an overhead look of how the Glade is. Over here is where I have Tiana's house when you come in the entrance. Back here is where we have the restaurant, and then I'll loop around Mother Gothel's tree, and this is where we have the trolley station. Just back here is where I have the marketplace and Goofy's stall, and then I also have the Haunted Mansion in the back of the biome across from the pond there. Mickey's house is tucked away here under all of these swamp trees, and then we have Goofy nestled up in the corner right next to where I have the inclines coming down from the peaceful meadow. So here we are in the Sunlit Plateau, and the Sunlit Plateau for me is kind of divvied up into a few different designs. So this first area we'll walk through is all inspired by Winnie the Pooh. So I used a bunch of autumnal themed items to really bring this design together. So a lot of stuff from Storybook Vale again, all of these orange and yellow bushes. Here we have Winnie the Pooh's tree house, and in front of that I added in a little picnic blanket it. Now this is where Winnie the Pooh lives, but it's actually not a house. You can't go inside of it, but it is a really cool item nonetheless. It has a balloon that flies out of it. The leaves are falling and there is a beehive up there with some little bees circling around. So across from Pooh's house, I placed this wilted flower cottage. And this is really cool because again, it has that like leaf falling from the top of it. And I just thought that this house looked really cool with like the tree house aesthetic. And it was very playful with the autumn touches we have throughout this biome too. And then in the corner over here, I made a little bit of a play area. So I added in some toys. And over here, I tried to make it look like a little balloon area. So maybe Pooh Bear would be selling some balloons to the other villagers. So we have the little cash register and these little laugh canisters from Monsters Inc. are meant to act as the little helium tanks. So that was just a cute little filler build there. Next to that, we have this little beehive house, which is probably my favorite part in the Sunlit Plateau. Actually, it might be tied with one other area in the Sunlit Plateau. You'll see in just a moment. This is a really cute house. Unlike Pooh's house, this is an actual house you can go in and decorate. And in front of it, I have these little apiaries with all of the little honeybees flying around. If we continue along the little honeycomb path here and circle into the back of the house, I have Goofy's stall set up where we're selling honey, honeycomb, and some beeswax candles. And then I also have a little storage chest to drop everything I pick up in the Sunlit Plateau. So that is kind of this first section of the Sunlit Plateau. Let's go on over to the bridge and I will walk you through the other area. It's basically like my shopping district. So we have Remy's restaurant, Daisy's boutique, and Scrooge's store. I have this set up as kind of like a host stand in front of Remy's restaurant for this outdoor seating section. So I used this item that you can make at a time bending table, which is really supposed to be like a subway entrance. I kind of used it as like a little gazebo or an awning and set this up as an outdoor host stand for the restaurant. So I put things like the little anyone can cookbook in the back, a little phone to take reservations, and a little award in the back because Remy's restaurant is great. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased because I work there. This has to be maybe my favorite area. And hopefully we can catch the raccoons in action. But I have this really cute Remy fountain, and then I have these little dining tables for my raccoons, and they are all docked over here at this companion house. Actually, is it just the one? Maybe I hung out with the others and they've left, but usually there's 4 here, and they look really cute coming on over to eat off these tables. I wish they would go back to the companion house after you've hung out with them, but they don't. And I just need to remember to put them back at the house, I guess. Now, in front of the pond here, I wanted this to be a really romantic, kind of like date area for my villagers. It's kind of like an outdoor mall. So we have Daisy's shop, Scrooge's, I have Remy's house in the corner there. My well is over here. And then at the heart of it all, we have Remy's restaurant, which is right across the pond here. I wanted to make it really romantic and sweet, so I added in the little swan boats. I'll continue to wrap around here, but I don't think there's really much to really show you. We have Scrooge's here, the wishing well, and a bunch of the waterfall items spread throughout the back of the biome. Little entrance into Remy's there, and then just some benches all throughout this area too. I will make my way into the elephant graveyard, which is where I have Scar's house. Now, I did kind of want to make some kind of separation because I felt a little weird to have like all this cutesy Winnie the Pooh stuff, and then you turn around and it's a spooky elephant graveyard. So I used these big bamboo trees that are all kind of in a line to kind of block off Scar's area. So we can walk through here, and I really wanted to keep this area pretty sparse sparse, kind of dried up. I did mix in all of my gooseberry bushes. There's really not too much going on in here for Scar. Scar and Mother Gothel are some of my least favorite villagers in the valley, so I don't do too much decorating for them. But he does have a little oasis here, so don't say I didn't give you anything, Scar, okay? So here is just an overhead of how Scar's area is looking. This is where you come up the entrance from the plaza. So we have the bamboo trees here. This is all laid out for my Winnie the Pooh section. I really want to see some 100 Acre Wood characters added at some point. I think Piglet would be so cute, and Pooh Bear, Tigger, they would make a great addition to the valley. And then over here we have our little outdoor shopping area. Here we are in the Forgotten Lands, and it's kind of perfect that Fairy Godmother is up here because her house was stuck up here for so long. This whole area obviously has a Halloween kind of theme. I've done this whole area up for Jack and Sally and basically made them Halloween Town and a pumpkin castle. Mirabelle, you are kind of ruining the vibe with all of the butterflies here, I'm not gonna lie. Let's get away from her. Now, as we enter the biome, I have these 3 cottages, and I like to call these my witches' cottages. And I also moved all of my flowers around the pond here too. At the end of the path here is Jack the Pumpkin King himself, and we have the skeletal mobile and the little pillar there for the biome. Next to that, I have the Halloween Town Cottage, and in front of this house, I wanted to make a little pumpkin carving station. So we have all the jack-o'-lanterns and the pumpkins waiting to be carved, and a bunch of really nice autumnal decor there too. At the end of the street, I have this bind home. To me, this house looks like a creepy library, so that is what I have here at the end of the street. There's a little trick-or-treat bucket if you dare, and some candles and jack-o'-lanterns basically throughout this entire biome. Max is too cute prancing by, but this is the entrance to Jack and Sally's castle. So I used a bunch of these castle wall ruins and set up a large castle for them because they are royalty in the valley after all. So I felt like they needed a castle as an extension of their house. So we have this really cool fountain from The Nightmare Before Christmas outside. And then when we enter the castle, there is definitely a Nightmare Before Christmas scheme going on because I have decorated this whole house with a bunch of Halloween and Christmas decor. This is really the only area in my valley where I have some holiday decorations. So we have this main entryway with the large Christmas tree in the center, and I surrounded it with a bunch of dropped gifts and jack-o'-lanterns, little Halloween bench in the corner there, and then on the other side I have this little Nightmare Before Christmas clock as well as this mini tree, which is so cute. Now for the rest of the castle, I kind of divvied it up and made a bunch of different little rooms. So over here I have a main dining area for Jack and Sally. So I used this unbirthday table and a bunch of really weird food that is either Christmas themed or just seemed like it was appropriate for Halloween Town. And I have a nice little romantic dining area set up for Jack and Sally here. Of course, plenty of pumpkins and Christmas trees to go around too. Next to that, I wanted to have a fireplace, but there's not many fireplaces you can put outside. Also, I think like the one fireplace you can put is like blue marble, and that really doesn't go with the rest of this theme. So I made my own fireplace. To do that, I put this window castle piece on the corner here, and I added in these thorny pillars to kind of frame it, and the pixelized cooking flame on top of the window to kind of make it look like a fireplace here. So I dressed it up with a bunch of the pumpkins and more gifts, of course. Across from the dining area, we have a little potion cabinet. So over here, I have a cauldron, and then I used this really cool owl shelf that has all of the little potion bottles. And then in the back, I dropped a little time-bending book on the pillar here to kind of act as a spell recipe book. So that is Sally's little potion corner. And she has another room if we continue this way, which is her adorable craft room. I mixed in a lot of fun items that I don't often get to use, like these string lights, the little monster plushies. This rocking chair is super cute from the Cheshire Cat event. And I also mixed in a bunch of items from Cinderella's furniture collection because a lot of them are pumpkin themed and craft themed. And they also really matched her little patchwork rug. Sally has a cute little lounge of a craft room here. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. Across from that, we have a library area for Jack and Sally. I added in these cute little chairs from the Bind, and then this mushroom table, which I thought was kind of cool for Jack and Sally because it looks like it has a spider web coming down the side of it. And I added the monstrous sushi platter from Monsters Inc. on top of it because there's things like eyeballs and tentacles and all kinds of weird things that I think Jack and Sally would like. So the little bookcases kind of wrap all around here. They're from Jack Skellington, so I thought that they were perfect for the rest of the castle. We have a little Jack in the Box here, and then a little hidden Mickey jack-o'-lantern and a snow globe. There's another pond over here that I just filled up with some of the lily pads. Used a bunch of these orange ferns around too. Next to Sally's sewing area, I have a little area for Jack too. So Jack came to the valley in a portal, so I did put my portal over here because I think he's studying them as well as researching Christmas. So he has a little crafting station, his chalkboard, his throne. He has a little globe next to the sleigh here, trying to work out how Santa visits all of the kids on Christmas. And again, a little Christmas tree tucked away in the corner here because we just couldn't have enough Christmas trees in this biome. Now, there is another exit from the castle over here, and this is kind of like the main way I like to look at this little castle here. I linked up Jack and Sally's home right up against the castle to kind of look like it's all connecting. And then in front of it, I placed Zero's companion home, and we have the little Zero Fox strolling around the pumpkin patch here too. We have the tree house over here. This is where I have a little bit of a pumpkin patch as well as Goofy's stall. I used Jack's tree as the center for my pumpkin patch, and I have all the pumpkins growing behind it. I have my well in the back, and then Goofy's stall and a bunch of storage chests here to drop pumpkin seeds and things like that over here. So that is the Forgotten Lands. Here is what an overhead of this whole biome looks like. So this is where I have my 3 witches cottages as you come up from the elephant graveyard. Here is where I have the Halloween town cottage with the little pumpkin carving station. We have the haunted library, and then this whole area in the back is all of Jack and Sally's castle. I do have a video series where I decorated it all inside of there. And over here we have Jack and Sally's house, of course, the tree house, and the pumpkin patch. Welcome to the Forest of Valor. This is all in dedication to Mulan and Mushu. So we have tons of cherry blossoms and a bunch of stuff that came with the Majesty and Magnolia Star Path. So as we come up the incline from the plaza, I have a little fountain with all of the flowers from the biome circled around it. I just really try to contain my flowers in one area where I can easily find them. In the back of the fountain, I have a little walkway leading up to this house, which I decorated on a members only live stream. And we turned the inside of this house into a restaurant, which was really fun. I have all the lanterns leading up to the front door. Next to it, I did a little bit of a faux water build, although now we have the Neverland River kit, so maybe I should swap that out. But I was used to using this path to kind of simulate water, so I do have the little dragon serpent entrance, kind of weaving in and out of the water, and a bunch of the little cherry blossoms dropped. And then I have my gazebo here, which is kind of like a nice little zen area where I like to catch my villagers lounging and hanging out. Over here, I have May's house from Turning Red. I really want to see some more Turning Red stuff. I'm a big fan of Four Town, the fictional band in that movie, and I need some Four Town stuff in this game. We have May's house here all decked out with the little red panda statues and all of the cherry blossoms, of course, leading up to her door. All of my raspberry bushes as well as the Dreamlight fruit trees are scattered throughout the forest, so I just have a really natural path leading up to this house over here. To the right of that, I have this little picnic area set up with the kites going in the background, which were also from Mulan and Mushu's Star Path. Next to the building over here, I have this statue of Lance/Blade because he looks like a warrior that Mulan would kind of vibe with, so I put his statue over here. And honestly, again, where else is it gonna go? We have the gong over here, which I always like to just smack it when we're walking by. And then the path loops around this kind of filler area where I just added in some trees and my wishing well, which again, I customized to the springtime theme, which I think is really perfect because it has all the pink flowers to tie in with the cherry blossoms. In this back section next to the staircase leading up to the Frosted Heights, I have Goofy's stall. Really didn't do too much for Goofy's stall in this biome. Going across this bridge here, I have a little garden set up using these Mulan walls. And inside here, I used a bunch of these Zen gardens circling around this Hercules fountain, which is really cute and just a good way to fill up some space. I can also come out the entrance here to do some fishing. There's bamboo scattered all along the wall. And then I put a bunch of these little junk boats in the river here too, which I thought were just very sweet. So I've just made my way out of this side of the garden, and here is kind of where we started. So we have May's house on this side, and then going across the bridge here, we have Mulan's house. And in front of Mulan's house, I made a little tea area. I have this little lounge space with the Mushu statue, a little tea kettle, and of course her tea cart. Moving past her house, we have a little bit of a crafting station and a training area. So here's where I put all of the training dummies, the little tents, and of course another cooking station over here. Now there's one other section for me to show you over here in the Forest of Valor, and that is just over here by Elsa's house. Elsa's cave is very sad. I decided to do something a little bit more for her up in the Frosted Heights. In front of her house, I just added in another one of these temple hills, and then we have this really cool statue in front of this Imperial Garden. So here is an overhead look of how my forest is all mapped out. We have the entrance coming up from the plaza, the little restaurant building here, May's house. We have another home in the corner here, my wishing well at the base of the Frosted Heights. And then in this smaller section of the Forest of Valor is kind of like Mulan's area where I have her house, the tea area, the training camp in the back, and this gorgeous little garden here in the center. Welcome to the Frosted Heights. This is the most recent biome that I have decorated. This whole biome is decorated for the frozen characters. We have a little tea party off to the side here with a bunch of frozen treats and iced tea. On the other side of the path here, I have my Goofy stall and the igloo with the little Mad Hatter snowman, which I think is really cute next to the little tea party over here. And then on the other side of that, I have my ancient vacuum and a little storage bin where I can drop everything from the Frosted Heights. And this is all very carefully protected by the little snow buddies on the ground here, which are so cute, especially when you put a few of them. I just think they're so funny there. Oh, there's Alice. You could almost miss her because she is currently definitely smaller than that fox. I have this little cabin house, and this corner is all set up for Kristoff because Kristoff's stall is so cool in the valley. I love that you can buy all kinds of resources over here. So I have his stall placed on the back of this festival market, and I did buy him out for the day, and I always drop everything I buy into this little chest here. Next to that, I have Sven's companion home, as well as little baby Sven hopping around back here amongst all of the ice sculptures. This is a little ice sculpture area for Kristoff and Elsa to work together. So I have a bunch of the ice sculptures in the back, and then these crystals, which I'm imagining they're kind of like working into shaping into the ice sculptures. We have a sword to cut the ice with, and just a few little projects scattered around here and there. Next to that, I have a gazebo, and inside here I have this cute little hay bed and the crafting station from the Frost and Fairies Star Path. A lot of the items I used are either from the Frost and Fairies Star Path or the Royal Winter Star Path. We have Kristoff's sled, and then it links us right on back over to the other side of this little log cabin. And in front of that, I added in Anna's hot cocoa stand because we have to have a nice warm treat to warm up in the Frosted Heights. Moving along this way, I have an ice fountain in front of the Frosty Fortress, which is just kind of nestled in the back of the biome here. And then when we make our way across the bridge, this is Anna and Elsa's magical ice kingdom. So I have the well off to the side here, and then pathing leading up to these two castles. So we have Anna's castle on the right, and I don't like that Elsa just lives in a cave, so I gave her her own palace in my valley, and that is what you'll see on the left. So we have the two sisters ruling the kingdom together, and I have these little ice rinks on either side of the pathing here. Oh, Jack? Jack isn't happy having the Pumpkin Kingdom. Now he wants the Ice Kingdom too. Get real, Jack. You have enough. You've got the whole Forgotten Lands I did for you, Jack. These little ice thrones in the back are meant to be for Anna and Elsa. So we have Elsa's on the left, where Jack is currently sitting with the little snow globe on the pillar. And then, of course, we have Anna's throne on the right side with the hot chocolate next to it. So that is the little ice palace area. And then you can just walk right in between the palaces, and I have this light up garland going across the back of the biome here too. Here's an overhead look at the Frosted Heights. So we have the entryway with the little tea party area. Over in the corner here, I have Kristoff's whole outdoorsy setup. I also mixed in all of the blueberry bushes throughout this biome. So this item in the corner is this little festival market that I just turned around, and I put Kristoff's stall nestled up right against that. We have the little ice sculpture carving area, and then the little cabin here with the hot cocoa stand. Over here we have the gazebo and the Frosty Fortress. And then when we cross the bridge over here is where we have Anna and Elsa's palaces. So hopefully that gives you guys a better idea of the layout for this area too. That's the full tour for now. I'm always updating the valley and rearranging things, constantly changing my decor, and always wanting to provide you guys with new decorating content. Let me know which area in my valley was your favorite, or if you have ideas for what I should do next, let me know. I love hearing your creative suggestions, and if you enjoyed, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. Also, I just want to mention, if you are just starting out in the game, don't worry, your valley is probably not going to look like mine anytime soon. This valley has been through a lot of changes. I've also been playing this game since week 1, and I've been designing and decorating this valley for literally months. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.